I regret to tell you this.
Oof. Yeah, that phrase. It definitely lands with a certain weight, doesn't it?
It really does. It signals something difficult is coming, something you maybe really don't want to say.
Exactly. And that feeling, that whole complex area around regret and, difficult choices, that's what we're digging into today.
Right. We're doing a deep dive based on this really interesting source you found. It's an excerpt from a podcast episode called I Regret to Tell You This.
Yeah, and our goal here, our mission, is to unpack what this source suggests about those moments, the ones that feel heavy, filled with regret.
Because the source argues they aren't just setbacks, they can actually be, well, powerful starting points for real transformation, for
Yeah.
growth.
hmm And what's compelling right away is this central idea it presents. Regret, it's like a double-edged sword.
Okay, how so?
Well, on one hand, yeah, it can absolutely weigh you down, feel like this huge burden you're carrying around.
Sure, we've all felt that.
But on the other hand, the source says that same feeling, or maybe the situation causing it, can act as a catalyst.
Catalyst, like it pushes you.
Exactly. Pushes you towards growth, towards change, maybe even towards a path you wouldn't have even considered otherwise.
Okay, interesting.
And to really make this point clear, the source uses a specific story. It focuses on a young woman named Sarah.
Right, Sarah. So let's talk about her situation as the source lays it out. She sounds like she was the rock of her family.
Totally. Always the responsible one, holding down a steady job.
But it was more than just the job, wasn't it? The source mentions she was also caring for her younger siblings.
Yeah, after their parents passed away. I mean, just imagine that kind of responsibility on, young shoulders.
It really paints a picture of dedication, sacrifice, even right from the start.
Definitely. But then the excerpt says, something happens. An opportunity.
A pretty amazing one, it sounds like.
Yeah, a phone call. It's from a prestigious university, and they're offering her a scholarship. The source literally calls it her dream opportunity. Like, the dream.
Okay, so dream comes true, but there's always a catch, right?
There usually is. And the source lays out this absolutely heartbreaking complication. If she takes the scholarship, she has to leave her siblings, at least for a while.
Oh, man, that's tough.
And the source is really clear about the internal conflict this sparked in her. Just overwhelming guilt. How could she even think about leaving when they depended on her so much?
You can feel that tension.
And that's the moment. When she's wrestling with all of this, and she sits her siblings down to talk, that's when she says it.
I regret to tell you this.
Exactly. Wow. Just saying it, you feel the weight.
And how did the siblings react? I mean, understandably.
Hurt. Confused. The source says they felt abandoned, which, makes total sense from their perspective right then.
Of course. But then the source kind of shifts, right, to Sarah's perspective.
Yeah, it digs into her reasoning. She had to try and make them see this wasn't just her being selfish.
It wasn't just about her own dream.
No. She saw this opportunity, this scholarship, as something for all of them. The source describes it as, like, a massive leap of faith.
A leap of faith. How so?
Believing that taking this chance, even though it hurt now, was the path to a brighter future. Not just for her, but like their collective future together.
Okay, so the source frames it less as abandoning responsibility and more as a different kind of sacrifice.
Precisely. Sacrificing the present, the familiar, for the potential of a better long run for everyone.
That's a heavy calculation to make.
No kidding. And the source says, look, there was pushback, initial resistance from the siblings.
Naturally.
But eventually they started to understand. They began to grasp the bigger picture she was trying to paint for them.
So what happened? Did she go?
She did. Sarah went to university.
Hmm?
And according to the source, she didn't just go, she thrived. She soaked it all up, learned, grew.
And that's where the catalyst idea comes back in.
Exactly. Because the long-term outcome, the source highlights, wasn't just her getting an education. It was that she eventually brought all that new knowledge, that experience, back home.
Ah, so it circled back.
It circled back. And she was able to help her siblings support her family in ways that the source implies she just couldn't have before. Ways she probably never imagined.
Wow. That's quite a journey.
It really is. The source sums it up perfectly.
Mm.
What started with that heavy, regretful decision, it actually turned into a blessing for the whole family.
That story alone gives us so much to chew on from this source about regret and making hard choices.
Yeah, some really clear takeaways emerge. Like sometimes the hardest decisions, the ones that feel the worst in the moment, they might actually be the ones that lead to the most growth.
That makes sense. It also seems to highlight that building a better future, well, it often means taking risks, doesn't it?
Definitely. and facing uncomfortable truths about where you are or the choices you have, even if those choices feel painful right now.
Yeah, the short-term pain for long-term gain idea.
Right. And another really important point the source makes, almost like giving permission. It's okay to feel that regret or guilt or just plain unsureness along the way.
That feeling doesn't mean the decision was wrong.
Not necessarily. It's just
Yeah.
part of being human, navigating these really tough spots.
We can actually learn from those feelings then, from those moments.
Absolutely. The source suggests they aren't just obstacles to get around. They're often really fundamental experiences. They shape us into who we're meant to be.
And I guess that's where we bring it back to you, the listener.
Yeah. Think about those moments in your own experience. Times you faced a choice that felt heavy, maybe loaded with potential regret.
Because this source's core message seems to be that regret doesn't have to be this thing that stops you in your tracks.
Right. Doesn't have to be a stumbling block. With the right perspective, maybe it can actually be a stepping stone.
Mm-hmm. Stepping stone. So the source kind of encourages reflecting on those times when maybe you made a decision feeling like Sarah did, with that I regret to tell you this kind of feeling.
And maybe, just maybe, it led to some unexpected growth down the line. Or a positive outcome you couldn't see at the time.
Yeah. And that leads us to the final thought this material kind of leaves hanging in the air. A challenge, really.
Which is,
How can you consciously choose to use those feelings, the unsureness, the guilt, maybe even the outright regret? How can you use them not as something dragging you backward, but as fuel?
fuel to propel yourself forward.